second time I'm filming this clip. The first time I filmed it like a couple days ago, so all of the clips you just saw were like from almost a week ago. It was from last week. Actually, that's not true. It was from last week Friday, and today's Monday, so actually it wasn't almost a week ago. It was just a couple of days ago. I don't know why it seemed like so long ago, but I filmed what was supposed to be this clip that day, but it turned out really bad. Anyway, so I want to talk about the books that I got at the bookstores that I went to, as well as some books that I had just recently finished. So let's start with the books that I got. At the first bookstore that I went to, which is the one that you saw first, I got two books, those being two Penguin classic, I don't know, like white Penguin, I don't know the editions of the Penguins that well, but the first is Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. I love Jane Austen, so I actually this is only the second book of hers I have. The only other one I have is Pride and Prejudice, which I'm gonna get to in a second, because that has, yeah, I'm gonna get to that. But Northanger Abbey is really cool. This is a used bookstore that I got it at, so it's a used book. It came like with the person's name. I don't want to like their name, and when they got the book they put their address at the bottom, so I'm not going to show that. But yeah, their name, and there's a fly in my room, so if you see a fly flying around, ignore that. We'll deal with that another day. Their name, and like I think maybe the day that they got the book, I don't know. And also they left like a bookmark with like the same information on it. Hold on, can you see? You can kind of see. And it's like in the book. I don't know if they ever finished it. I left, this is exactly where the bookmark is, so I think when I read the book I'll use the same bookmark, because that'll be really cool. So I got that. And the second book I got is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Another book that I want to read soon. And the funny thing is, they were right next to each other on the shelf. And the funny thing is that this book also has a name, and you can't really see it, but it's very, I think like the owners of these books were sisters or something, because this one says Louisa Adalyn and this one says Melissa Adalyn, so that's really cool if they were like sisters. There was a, what is the other, Northanger, this is Northanger, another Jane Eyre book, I can't remember which one, that was also there, it'll come back to me, that was also like the same, like the three of them were next to each other, and they were all this classic. They might have all been owned by like the same people, so if it's still there, because I'm gonna go back there on Wednesday. Today's Monday, so on Wednesday I'm going back. Hopefully it's still there, and maybe I might get that one as well. I can't remember which Jane Eyre book it was though. It was definitely a Jane Eyre book though. Jane Eyre and Jane Austen book. It was definitely a Jane Austen book. So those are the only two books that I got from that bookstore. And then after that I went to a second bookstore, though I didn't film inside because that bookstore, I said take a shot every time I said bookstore, that one was really small and there were kind of a lot of people inside, and I didn't want to film. Like the first one I was the only person there, so I was like, look at me. Even then I was kind of embarrassed. But I got The Shadow of the Wind by Mr. Zafón is what I'll call him, because I don't want to butcher the name again. But this was like on my TBR. I want to read this summer. So these are the three books I got on Friday. So now let's move on to the recent books I read, which are another three books that I want to talk about. just briefly because they're all 3 books except for one that I don't have much to say on. The first book that I read, I actually have the physical copy. It's right here. I actually have the physical copy too, and that is Belladonna by Adalyn Grace. I got this book last Christmas. I bought it for myself, and I only just got around to reading it. The synopsis sounds great and amazing and everything that I would like. The execution was good. It was like okay. It was an okay book. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was just what I wish was different about it is I wish it was written a little bit more mature, or like I want to say mature themes, but I don't know, there was something about the plot that was just too simple. It was quite kind of predictable. Like I predicted a lot of things about it. I'm not like, there is a second book. It's a duology, which also made me want to read it because you gotta love when it's only 2 books. Better if it's only 1. 3 we can deal with 4. Why are we making 4 books? But yeah, there is a second one. I don't feel the need to read it. Like, I feel like I've forgotten a lot of what has happened in the book already. And I finished it like 2 weeks ago. And it's like one of those things, I don't have much to say about it really. It was just okay. The character relationships were okay. I wasn't like obsessed with any of the characters. Honestly, the main character something bad could have happened to her, and honestly I wouldn't have cared. Yeah, it was like okay. And that's Belladonna by Adalyn Grace. The next 2 books I don't have physical copies of, so I'll just put them here. The next book that I read is The Enchanted April by Elizabeth von Arnim. I really enjoyed this book. Okay, so let me get comfortable for this. I have a time limit on my phone. It says I can only speak for 8 more minutes, so hold on. I'll give myself 4 minutes. I was going into this book expecting something completely different. I hope you can't hear the car that's passing. It's like a really big truck that's passing outside my house. Ignore that. I was going into this expecting something completely different. I expected it to be a magical realism book because that's how it was introduced to me. I understand why it could be seen as a magical realism just because of how I want to say ridiculous, but like how I'm going to say ridiculous some of the things that happen are, or that suddenly happen because of a certain thing. But this is also, I didn't know that it's a classic, or I didn't know the time period it was written in. So when I like opened the book and started reading it, I was like, whoa. I was not expecting this kind of writing. I thought it was a more modern book. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's really like opened my eyes to read a lot more classics. Actually, it's kind of the reason why I picked up these books, because I was like, now I'm really intrigued. I mean, I've always been intrigued on reading them. I've always wanted to read them, but I now like have the courage to read them because I accidentally picked up a classic and really enjoyed it. So I would really recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it like as a first classic though, because it was so hard to read. But yeah, that book is like a ball of joy. It's just such a happy book. You're gonna smile throughout the entire time reading the book. The difficulty that the characters go through. I haven't actually told you what any of these books are about. Do you want to know what the books are about? This is about a girl who's like followed by death, and people keep on dying wherever she goes, and she's an orphan, and then she has to inherit a lot of money. That's kind of the vibe of the book. And The Enchanted April is about these 4 women who are struggling with their lives, and they decide to go on a vacation to a medieval castle in Italy. They're from London or England. I think they're from London, England. Yeah. So back to the Enchanted April, an amazing book. Would definitely recommend. If you like happy books about people overcoming difficulties in their life, but it has a happy ending in the end. Not like, we don't like sad endings here. The last book that I read, the last book that I finished, is a Dowry of Blood by S.T Gibson, I think the name is. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. If it's different, I will have it here. I think it would have been better if I had a different mindset going into the book, because I had just come off of the Enchanted April. Part of me was really still craving like a happy book that was like really sweet. This book is about like an abusive relationship, and I was just like not interested. So it's a really short book. I think it's like less than 200 pages. It took me 3 days to finish because I would read like 10 pages on like the first day, and then 10 pages, and then like the last day I just kind of like really, I had to kind of force myself to finish it a little bit. But like I can recognize that it was really good. It just at the time wasn't holding my interest because I really wanted something else. And so because of that, because of me oh, by the way, back to me telling you what the book's about. It's about like Dracula's wife. That's how people describe it, though. Dracula's never like mentioned. It's never mentioned if the vampire is Dracula. But like the name of the vampire is never mentioned either. It might actually be Dracula. It might have to do with like his actual backstory. I've never read Dracula though, so I wouldn't know. So I'll say Dracula. It's about Dracula's wife and his their relationship and how he was kind of an abusive husband. And yeah, that's what it's about. They have like, what am I trying to say? He had more than one wife and husband, and it's like about, you know, not just the relationship between the main character and Dracula, but also the other spouses, and it's like this little family that was not a very functional family, and their relationship. It's a very short book. It's written in letter form, which is, I think that's the first time I ever read a book that was written like that. So yes, it was also very enjoyable. Next, I want to talk about, okay, I'm going to talk about this for 2 minutes. As I said, I was really craving a like happier book, and I just finished reading like the classic that is the classic Enchanted April. So I decided to pick up Pride and Prejudice. I've been annotating this. I don't really annotate books, but I've really been annotating this book. Let me like kind of show you a little bit. Can you see? You can kind of see like underlines. You can't really see, but believe me, I've been annotating this a bunch, and I'm really enjoying it. I've watched the movie like 10,000 times. I've read this book like halfway before, but I never finished it, so I'm gonna finish it this time. And yeah, I'm running out of storage on my phone, so I can't talk for much longer, but this is what I'm in the middle of. I'm not that far. I'm on page 89. I'm gonna read some more of it right after I'm done filming this. Thanks for watching. I'll have another video up sometime soon. I don't know when. Bye.